The final issue that we discussed during the working group was around the various tools, systems, and practices that companies are using for succession planning. Some of the items that were shared during the discussion, like the 9 box, are things that have been around, it seems like, for decades. But there was also some interesting and newer approaches that were emerged during the discussion that I thought would be useful to share. One company, for example, uses what it refers to as a chain reaction model to map the downstream impact of talent gaps and succession actions at higher levels of the organization. As we all know, often what happens is, we go to promote someone into one role, and then that creates this ripple effect through the organization that's kind of a game of musical chairs. And so this kind of chain reaction model really helps to kind of map that to understand how changes or succession actions in one area will have implications in other areas, so we can adopt a much more holistic systems view of succession planning and its impact across the organization. Somewhat similarly, another company employs what it refers to as a vanishing organizational chart, with the idea of really trying to identify positions or roles that are likely to become vacant in the near future due to employee retirements, and to try to forecast that and then think about, again, what implications might this have through the organization, and how do we kind of prepare for that effect or interdependencies across various roles and levels. Although not necessarily new, we did hear an increased focus on using internal job postings systems as a way to really facilitate internal mobility and to identify hidden talent that may exist across the organization. One of my colleagues here in ILR, J.R. Keller, has done a lot of work on this, comparing the effects of internal job postings to more slotting systems where managers just nominate someone for open roles, and has found a lot of benefits associated with these internal job postings in terms of really attracting the best talent into roles, creating more systems that are perceived as more fair and equitable, and ultimately a lot of benefits for managers themselves that adopt these systems, because talent often gravitates to them because they see a path forward in terms of movement and mobility within the organization. A number of companies also indicated that they're moving to a more skills-based organizational structure. This is not totally driven by succession planning, but certainly succession planning is seen as a potential process that can be bolstered through these more skill-based organizations. Because the skills-based approach really allows companies to more easily compare the skill profiles of employees to the current and future skills required for various roles, therefore helping to identify where gaps exist. In addition, these profiles can help make it easier to quickly identify talent that may be suitable to fill open positions. So I think given the other drivers of these skill-based organizations, such as the increase in AI and other technology, and just the rapid evolution of work within organizations, I think succession planning may be a process that benefits from some of those transitions that we're seeing to more skill-based structures. And then finally, companies are increasingly leveraging data and analytics in their succession planning process. Again, not necessarily new, but interestingly, what we heard is that companies are not only leveraging their own internal data, but also are increasingly bringing in external market data that can help to provide insights into what areas are going to be harder to fill, which areas are likely to have greater levels of talent scarcity, which particular roles may be on the decline versus the kind of uptick in terms of demand. And so this market data can really help to organizations to engage in more of that forecasting and that workforce planning that feeds into those succession planning and leadership development processes. We also heard examples of companies utilizing market data for benchmarking diversity to kind of compare their own diversity representation at different levels of the organization or across different types of roles, to see how does that compare to the external market, to help them identify where there might be instances of underrepresentation that need to be addressed through various succession and development processes.